Good morning and welcome to today's devotions. Today is Tuesday, June 30th. A joy to welcome you to our Tuesday-Thursday devotions this week. Before I begin my devotions, I would like to thank all of those who tuned in to our past Sunday Children's Day worship service. It was a great day, and Elder and Christian Ed Director Chris Rice read a beautiful book about inclusion of everybody, and God's world is made for all of God's creatures. And congratulations to all of the students and teachers who completed a very, very difficult semester, whatever grade you were in. Well done, and have a wonderful summer. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be the final day for Christian Ed Director Chris Rice to share in a book. We will be taking most likely the month of July off and then beginning the books back on Wednesday in August. And so today, the message is titled Acts of Mercy, Matthew 25, beginning at verse 31. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate people from one another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep at his right hand and the goats at the left. And then the king will say to those at his right hand, "Come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." And then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it to me." And then Jesus goes on, and this is part 1 today, and I will continue with part 2 tomorrow. I will end, though, this morning's devotions with the final words from verse 46, "And these will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life." Like it or not, judgment is a fact of life. This is true whether we're talking about the histories of nations or the events of our own personal life. If we break the law, then society will judge us. If we live immorally, we drink too much, choose not to eat healthy, and live a lifestyle of constant stress, then our bodies will judge us. We simply cannot escape judgment in life. And Jesus rarely spoke about the final judgment, but on one occasion he did paint a picture for us in one of his stories. The parable that I just read gives us a strong jolt to those who are heavy on doctrine but short on ethics. A shepherd divides the sheep from the goats, and so, said Jesus, so too shall there be a great division on the final day. Those on the right hand will be allowed entrance into the kingdom, while those on the left will be denied it. And the great surprise is that those who thought they were the religious ones turn out to be not as good as they thought they were. Now, I know the scene that Jesus describes can be quite frightening about some being thrown into eternal punishment. But as I reread this passage and began to study it for today's message, I am now hearing it as an encouraging, even comforting word. Note that the criteria by which the king shall judge are from one perspective rather small and insignificant. The needs are basic human needs, small acts of kindness given to those in great need. To feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty, to welcome the stranger and clothe the naked. This was Christ's challenge to his followers. So many times, preachers are guilty of raising the bar on the Christian life, placing it well out of reach for the average person. It ought to be great comfort to know that when all is said and done, the King says that we shall be judged on the basis of deeds of mercy, that are in reach of everyone. In these small deeds of generosity given to others, we are serving Christ himself. You will look at Jesus and his friends, and you will see that the friends of Jesus consist of the poor, the marginalized, the oppressed, and the sick. They are the lonely ones, the heartbroken, the sad and angry. And Jesus is clear with his command to us when he says to us, "Inasmuch as you did it unto the least of these, you did it unto me." I believe what Jesus is saying here is get to know yourself first, inside and out, the good and the bad. Be honest with yourself. This is the first step in getting to know your own heart and soul. And you will find that if you take the time to get to know yourself better, the gift of yourself will be greater wisdom. And in biblical terms, the wisdom to which Jesus calls us is a wisdom of the heart, a wisdom that is filled with love. And the sociologists of religion call this a holistic experience, meaning this is wisdom of the whole person. And during this time when we are all locked down and going through this very challenging time, our fears are all heightened, our concerns are greater, and we are missing family and friends. And so the best way that you can show acts of mercy is to get on the phone and call someone who you know that may not have these videos, that may not even be online. Be sure to check in with them and share with them, how are you today? Because the more we give of ourselves to others, the more we are healed. This is part 1. By their fruits you shall know them, said Jesus. And this will be continued on Thursday morning. Have a great Tuesday, and we will see you Thursday morning. Thank you very much.